Howdy folks, welcome back to the Schroedman's shop. I am the Schroedman. What we've got going on here is the assembly of a new yarn bowl. I'm doing this, I had already started, but I'm doing this because of a revelation that I had. And what I'm trying to do is I have already glued up these two rings. They're plantation teak and maple. And I'm going to sort of checkerboard them when I glue them all up. We're going to have to get a quick sand on the lathe on the sanding disc I made. This is what the pieces looked like in the first place. And I cut them all on the compound miter saw. And I had been doing them with a jig on the table saw. But that's part of the revelation, is that I realized that it works a lot better on the compound miter saw. Maybe because I have a little better one than some people, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. So this is an angled one. This will be on the bottom or on the top of the bowl. And I'm going to use this chunk of cherry, and that is going to be the bottom. But anyways, I have always had a problem gluing these pieces up. And what I had been doing them was doing them two at a time. And just hold them together for a minute, and the glue will set up long enough that you can set it down and let it dry. But what I had the problem with was, for some reason, these things would always come out oval shaped, elliptical, rather than nice and round like they're supposed to be. And I contacted Gary Asher, the YouTube channel The Papa 1947, and he says try gluing them all together at the same time. How the heck am I going to do that? So I thought of how could I clamp all at the same time, and here's what I came up with. This stuff here is used as a tourniquet when you go to have blood taken. And it's disposable. They'll use it on you and they toss it out. So I said to the girl, I says, don't throw that out, I want that. And I brought two of them home. They're actually very stretchy. But I thought, if I get a hold of what would be this edge, it may be able to hold them in the shape that I want. And lo and behold, you can see the result. Now I had two pieces of this, and this here is about 8.5 or 9 inches, I guess, on this side, on the wider. So I figured, well, pi d, so I need about 27 inches diameter, circumference rather. And I had two pieces of this, and I thought, maybe I'll try gluing them together, because one piece was too short. I had to stretch it way too far. So what I did was I used a couple dabs of Crazy Glue, CA, one on the top and one on the bottom on each joint. I can't really show it to you now. I'll show it to you later maybe. And then it was too big, so I bundled it up and used these little clamps. And I had been using or trying this stuff, which was a little clamp. And it worked, and that's what gave me the idea to go ahead with this. The problem with the blue thing is this buckle gadget here. It just weighs so much that it would pull the strap off of the piece. This stuff weighs virtually nothing. So I glued the two pieces together, wrapped it around, pulled it fairly tight, and then put this clamp on to take up the extra. And then this little clamp here, I found that if I hold my hand here and pull, it pulls this tight enough that it gathers all of these into a circle. I had also tried my big gear clamp, hose clamp, and it couldn't grab onto anything here. These are too smooth. But this thing, once you catch it around the edge, it pulls the bottom and the top together all at the same time. So I'm sharing this with everybody who may want to make something like this, so that you have some idea of a cool way to go ahead and clamp these together. There's a fellow out west, and he came up with an idea for doing the calculations to get these angles. And I recently started using Woodturner Pro software, and I mean, it figures it all out for you. So the trick is getting the saw set up to the angles that they give you, because there's 3 decimal places on the angle, and you can't set a saw up. I don't know how to do it, set it up that accurate. So in any case, we'll leave this for a little while, and then I can take this off of here. And this one I only did a couple hours ago, and the glue, I mean, it's fairly quick to set up, but I'm more than pleased with what's going on here right now. So once it's done, I'll have 4 rings. These have to be cleaned up a little bit on the lathe, because I have to get this angle off of here and some of this. So I'll do that with my sanding disc on the lathe. I'll touch one side to make it flat, and then I'll be able to register it in the Longworth chuck. So that's my plan anyways. And once I have that done, once these are round and smoothed up and that, I'll be able to glue all 4 of them together, and the bottom piece. So anyway, thanks for coming back, and we'll get you hooked back up when I start putting this all together.